What's up, guys? Welcome back. Amazing RC. Brian here with a new Tamiya rig, and I'm very excited about this one. This is a really cool revamped edition of an old school buggy that Tamiya had put out back in 1980. Now, there's a ton to say about this. A bunch of it you guys have probably already heard. Some of it maybe not so much. But I really like the fact that I can get into this buggy right here. And first reason is because I know I told you guys that I wanted to take my lunchbox and put it on the back of my flatbed for my grand hauler, and I was told by a couple people, it's too wide, Brian, it's not going to fit on the flatbed. And I was like, no, it's going to fit on the flatbed. And you're like, no, and you guys are all right, it's not going to fit on the flatbed, but this will. I thought about going back over to the big rig and kind of finishing that up, because I'm pretty close on that. I still got to paint, the cab and all that, and the fenders, but I might build this first just because it's so easy. But let's throw out some of my cool ideas about this. Now, this is actually the second RC car that Tamiya ever made. I believe right before this in 1979 was the SRB, which was way more expensive. This was kind of like a stripped down plastic tub, RC for everybody way back in the day. I actually got hooked on some of these old commercials for Tamiya. I was just blown away. The Clodbuster, the Midnight Pumpkin, the old Frog, and the Hornet. There was so many. The Wild Willie, that's a good one. Oh man, the commercial for that was just unbelievable. When you have the commercial for this was really cool, but when you got commercials from like 1980 to 1985, and they're all English dubbed Japanese commercials, which makes it even better. I used to always think that Steve Shen RC sounded all crazy in the beginning of some videos. Tamiya, the best in the world. Well, he's imitating these commercials. It's what we sounded like when we dubbed the Japanese commercials, which I thought was really cool. So Steve, I get it now. I totally understand. But holiday buggy. A couple things that I've learned about this. This is obviously the 2010 model. They back in I think the mid to late 90s, they actually changed a few things on this car, and for good reason. It had an old, mechanical speed controller, which was like the coil with the little bar on top of it. Obviously, that's not going to work. You actually get a nice little hobby wing with this now. They did stick with the 380 motor, which is cool. It's not a tiny vehicle, but the 380 is fine. This is not a speed demon. This doesn't go out there and just start ripping stuff up. But out in the sand and gravel, this thing's freaking cool. So some of the other things they changed was like the rear suspension. It used to have, I don't know what it's called, it almost looks like fiberglass to me, but it had like this, like a torsion bar in the back, and basically it would bend the torsion bar. Both of the rear wheels were actually connected to the same torsion bar. I can't imagine they lasted forever. It almost seemed like they would break after a while, but I keep seeing all these 1980 legit, holiday buggies out there running with the same stock parts on it. So I guess they knew what they were doing. But as far as suspension, that wasn't that great. So they do give you shocks all the way around. Now I don't know how the front is set up. I know that there's shocks up front, but there was shocks up front before, I'm pretty sure. But it was wild how the suspension in the front went. Like, it was connected here and it pivoted. The wheel was here and it would actually pivot back and forth, almost like on a lever. It was really cool how they made this thing. The one thing they didn't change, which was a really good idea, was this fantastic body. These things are freaking cool, man. I don't care who you are or what you like or don't like. Anything with louvers is cool, period. This thing is just awesome, and it's made out of that wild, crazy old plastic, so this stuff is literally indestructible. You can run this over with your car, and I doubt it's going to break. But that leads me into the next thing that I learned, and it didn't matter how many videos I watched on this. Just didn't matter. Everybody's like, don't paint that thing, or they would say, I've heard that these are extremely difficult to paint, and I'm not going to try to prove everybody right on that. I'm just not going to paint it. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to do something special. This is Amazing RC after all, and we are going to make this look completely unique. just like we do for everything else that we make. But I'm not going to use paint. I have decided that I think the proper course of action for our cool body here is going to be vinyl. And I have not a ton of vinyl, but I got a bunch of cool vinyl. And I mean, I've got matte black, you know, got a bunch of matte black vinyl. And this is already a cool blue already, you know what I mean? And the decal set's fine. But we're going to do something special. I got matte black. I've got reflective red. I don't know if the camera's picking this up or not, but this is like street stop sign red. I mean, this is cool stuff. I don't know if it's, I mean, it might be like a Superman car if I did it over the blue. But then, I mean, I've got gloss white. I've got mirror finish. I got two different kinds of this. We've got actual mirror finish. And then, of course, got the age-old, you know, go-to aluminum tape. This stuff is cool to put on anything. First of all, it ain't coming off whatever you put it on. Second of all, it makes it look like metal. Period. So we got aluminum tape, mirror finish, and then I've had this for probably, I don't know, 8 years, and I've never got to use it. And what reminded me that I had it was Uncle Lee's little bulky RC decal here. I don't know if it's picking this up, but it's a hologram. You know, it's got a hologram back to it. I thought maybe this on the front, man. Imagine this. Imagine some bim bim, little bull gear RC up here, right, with the wicked bull, and then this somewhere. Believe it or not, this is not cheap stuff. I bought this piece. I've never used it. I saw it and I had to have it. But I bought this from my local vinyl shop 8 years ago. I was doing something for Smoky Mountain Hobbies. I was building them in X-Max. And I was up there shopping vinyl. And I saw this little piece. And please, if you're going to let me have it, the comment section's yours. Go ahead. But I had to have it. It was like $20 for this. Just this little tiny piece. But it's like legit hologram. Oh, I did use a piece. Look at that. I used this one. Right here. I have no idea what for, but I used this one. So, we've got vinyl. Got plenty of vinyl, plenty of colors. This is going on here somehow, some way. Probably with, like I said, Uncle Lee's, you know, Bull Gear RC decal here. They didn't change a bunch of other stuff. The rims are different. These used to get like some really cool TriStar, you know, kind of cool rims. Oh, cool. These are Hex Rims? Okay, just the backs are. I'll tell you what, Tamiya's really good about screwing up some wheels. You know, I've been building all these other rigs for forever and ever and ever, and they all have 12mm hexes. You know, you got 17mm hexes, and, you know, the Emax had, you know, 14.5 some goofy, you know, millimeter hex. But Tamiya's really good about using some bearings. This is some old school stuff right there. So the front's got, you know, the bearing wheels. Now the backs do have the little 12mm hex. It's been so long since I've had a buggy. You don't know how excited I am. I was just thinking about my old Bandit probably a week ago, and these are cheap. It's $120 for this kit. I mean, with the ESC. Now you don't get a servo, you don't get a transmitter, you don't get a receiver, you don't get none of that. But you do get the ESC and the motor, so you're practically ready to go. But I mean, come on. I have not had knobby knobs in freaking forever. Another thing I do like about this is you don't have to paint the driver. Driver comes already painted. Boom, you don't have to paint your driver. Boom, little hat action going on there. Now we're probably not going to use this driver. If I can fit him, I've got that cool little driver I had in my D12 back in the day. I've got him over with my Tamiya Grand Hauler over there, because he's going to go in the Grand Hauler no matter what. But he can slip in and out of stuff. So maybe, or I'll do a Pez head. You guys know I got Chewbacca over here in my SCX6. So who knows? We might use the cowboy, but I just think it looks so funny. You know, I might put the cowboy head in my lunchbox. He looks like he would go over in the lunchbox better than this. I don't know, he does look pretty cool on here. Old sandrail and whatnot. So anyway, so we got that. Now you guys all know the parts in here. I mean, I don't have to go through all the parts and stuff. It's a holiday buggy. But I do have one more cool thing to say about this. I love these knobby tires, man. God, I can't wait. I'm going to build this. I'm going to build it real quick. You know, it'll only take me a little while. And then I'm going to vinyl it but vinyl the brakes off the front of it. And speaking of vinyl, that's the last thing I was going to talk about. Now, on the front of this, see this cool stuff here too. This is another cool little thing to learn about Tamiya. So you got 1979, 1980, 81, all that, you know, new company as far as RC cars. You know, they were Tamiya plastics for forever and ever and ever. But in the beginning, they didn't have any sponsors. They didn't have any of that stuff. Nobody knew who they were, you know, the whole world and whatnot. So it wasn't like 1985, 6, 7, 8 where they had Marlboro as a sponsor and all that. Remember the old cars where you actually had Marlboro decals and stuff on it? But in the original portion, they were just making some stuff up. You know, you had bright light, you know, on the cool fog lamp covers up front. Just weird, you know, fake companies and stuff, which is really cool. But I've got KC light, man. Check this out. So you got your little front ones here and these up here. Man, I got these old Traxxas decals from, I don't know, I think I actually purchased these separate. But I've got KC lights in here and some other cool company stuff. So I'm going to do something really cool with, you know, the whole, like I said, the vinyls, the decals. Man, I'm going to freak this thing out. I would love to change the color of the wheels. Everybody knows the 2010 model because of the yellow wheels. If I can somehow change the color of those wheels, I might even just paint them. I thought about flex sealing this. I've got like 4 colors of flex seal. Flex seals stick on anything. I don't care what it is. It's going to stick. It'll stick on water. So I thought about flex sealing it, but it's just so final. So I'm going to vinyl this, but I don't know, man. I'm going to do something with the wheels. I don't know. I've been told to stay away from trying to dye these Tamiya wheels, so I'm not going to do that. But I'd love to change the color of it. I might just spray it, and if it chips off, it chips off. Guys, I'm super excited. Holiday buggy, bunch of vinyl, hobby wing. I'm excited, man. I mean, this thing's cool. But we're going to build this one because it's obviously a lot skinnier than this. You know what I mean? As far as the side-to-side profile. This obviously is not going to fit on the back of the flatbed. I'm sure I could rig it up there, but it's going to look funny. You know, and then I could take the wheels off of it and do just travel wheels on it. But that's not going to be cool because I want to drive it off the back of the flatbed. However, this is going to fit on the back of the flatbed. So look out for that, guys. Like I said before, comment section is yours. New videos coming up. Holiday buggy's getting built. Hope everybody's having a really good weekend. Hope everybody in Florida is safe and recovering. Ian, you too. It's crazy that Ian came for Ian, man. You know who I'm talking to. Brian, Amazing RC. We'll get you guys another cool video very soon.